Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Big Bad Bench. I am John, aka Big Bad Biologist. Today, we're going to be working on my Screaming Baby LC3. And so, here on the Big Bad Bench is my Screaming Baby LC3, so named because when I finally got this system up and running, it was screaming like a banshee. And so, I did a video about recapping the motherboard, which fixed that issue. Oh, Garth Beagle's here. Hey, how's it going, Garth? So yeah, I did a video about fixing the recapping the motherboard. Oh, and Eric Heggleston's here too. All right, nice little crew. Good morning, everyone. So this thing's been up and running. I also did a little video about doing a little modification. This is originally an LC3, which is a 25 megahertz system. But if you move a resistor from one location to another resistor, you can overclock it to 33 megahertz, which is a Macintosh LC3 Plus. And so I did a little modification where I actually hooked it up to a switch so that I can change the speed by just changing up which position the switch is in. And so, in general, this system's been great. I use this thing as basically a file server for all my old compact Macs that I've been working on. So you can just hook up a little Apple Talk cable and you're good to go to share files between these things. But lately, this hasn't been switching on when I hit the power supply. So I have a feeling what we're dealing with is that the power supply needs a recap, and that's a common issue for these things. It's just something I haven't done yet. So I currently have this thing running. So I've just had it going on the Snooper logic board test, and I just wanted to check the power supply outputs because I haven't done that yet with this thing. Yes, it is actually a turbo switch, unlike PCs, which when you click the turbo switch, it made the computer slower. This thing, when you hit the turbo switch, it makes the computer faster. So our negative 5 volts is kind of funky right there. Our 12 volts is a little low, but that's not bad for these. And our 5 volts is good. Alright, so aside from the negative 5 being low, that's a little weird. But let's see what recapping this thing does. Let me shut this thing off. And yeah, the irony for my turbo switch is that it actually is a turbo switch that was harvested from a PC case. Alright, it's good to know that Garth has also seen wonky negative 5 volt readings on these things. We'll see what happens with the recap. Normally, I don't know, I don't see huge changes in the power supply outputs when I do recaps, but clearly they have some impact on the functionality. Oh, go back to here. Hey, there we are. Alright, so to get these things out, I just unplugged this thing, the main motherboard connector, and then there's just two little clips here, and that pops out. I love working on LC3s. They're just super easy to deal with. Let's set this somewhere safe. And I guess we can zoom in a little bit. Okay. So when we look at this thing, we don't see any juice flowing out of it, so that's always a good thing. Alright, so let's pop this open. Yeah, I expect the power supply to still be a little wonky. The voltage to be wonky afterwards. Okay, what do we got here? We got this one. We got these two. Yeah, I just got an order of caps in yesterday, or well, 2 days ago, and then I remembered that there were other things I wanted to do, so I had to place another order for caps from Mouser. I always try to remember to do them all at the same time because shipping $8 is, that's a lot of cap value. But yeah, oh, I should mention also this recap kit I bought. This one was just off of Console 5. I bought this one a while ago, so it's been around. It's been sitting here. I bought it just in case I would need it, and I think I might need it. Alright, what else we got holding this thing together? We got this little shieldy jobby. Okay, we got blue and brown. I'm gonna label them just so I don't forget. Oh, a whiteboard. That would be good. My workshop doesn't have any open walls right now, though, for putting a whiteboard on. So let's take a look in here real quick before we start unsoldering things. And it looks a little juicy. It's always kind of hard to tell whether the juice we're dealing with is cap juice or just flux residue. This looks pretty juicy, so I have a feeling that there's some cap juice going on here. Alright, so let's unsolder this. So today I'm using a really big honkin' tip. It's probably overkill, but I find that it helps when you have big solder pads like what's going on with these things. One of the things I ordered more caps for yesterday is doing a recap job for floppy drives. I don't know if any of you have heard of doing that. I've never done it because they're little tiny caps, and it doesn't seem to me like they do a whole heck of a lot in a floppy drive. But I have a couple of 800K floppy drives that are acting kind of weird, so I'm gonna go and recap them and see if that makes any difference. So that'll be in a future stream, so if you're not already subscribed, get subscribed. I'm gonna have to start doing all that YouTube-y stuff. Also, while I'm desoldering here, I do want to thank everyone that has gotten subscribed to the channel. I'm kind of blown away that there's like 90 some people subscribed to this silliness that I do. Okay, so this is the 8.2 microfarad. Where's our location? so I think I'm gonna try to do some of these as I go. So let's put these two back in before we go further. So I think the kit, instead of a 8.2 microfarad, includes 10 microfarad. It should be close enough. I do want to clean off the board. Yeah, I've often wondered, like, when you have a floppy drive that just does not seem to want to work no matter how much you clean it, and you think you have it all aligned and working nicely, got the eject mechanism all going. Is it really just the caps that are preventing that thing from working? So I think I have like 2 or 3 that are in that condition. So I'm looking forward to testing that theory. Okay, so you can see got some yellowing on this Q-tip. Again, I'm not totally sure if that's cap juice or flux. Let's take a look at this cap real quick. I know this isn't the most accurate piece of electronics machinery, but it generally can tell you if there's something majorly wrong with a cap. So this one looks good. Low ESR, 195 microfarad. This is a 180. But seems to be okay. This little guy, let's see what this one says. .8 microfarad, kind of a high loss, so and the ESR is a little high on this, so maybe this one was starting to go a little bit. Okay, so let's stick that in there. Alright, for this one, when they have these white lines, that looks to be the negatives. Let's see if I can fuse myself. I haven't done a regular recap in a while. I've only been using tantalum, so my brain has gotten switched the wrong way. Oh, I didn't even think, Garth, about CD drives needing recaps. Jeez. Oh, maybe that's why some of the ones that I have are buggy. Everything's needing recaps these days, even if they don't need a recap. Okay, so this one should be my good one. Again, so the console 5 kit, the original here was 180 microfarad, 385 volts. We're replacing it with a 220 microfarad, 400 volts. So hopefully console 5, hopefully you're not screwing us here. I've used their other kits before and everything's worked great, so I don't think they are. Just clean my tip a little bit there. Okay, get rid of these. Alright, where are we going next? So these are all tight, so it's going to be a little bit harder to do them individually. But again, yeah, none of them look blown like when you normally see a really bad cap. You can tell it's really bad because it's all domed and nasty. That one smelled a little fishy. So maybe this little guy is going. Alright, let's pop the rest of these out. Just want to double check. So this is a 47 microfarad 25 volt, and I think there's another one of those right there. Yep. So screaming was a sound you'd hear from this system. Like it was just like this ear piercing, like just super high pitched, angry kind of noise. And I don't know, I sort of equated it to like when you're on a plane and there's a screaming baby and you just can't get away from that noise, and it gets inside your brain and gives you a headache. So that's what this system did when I first got it. I also called this LC3 my Mouse House LC3 because when I first got it, I bought the system along with the SE that's behind me from a scrapper, and it had been sitting in his garage for a while, and it was a mouse house. So there were all kinds of like nutshells and bedding or whatever I guess you call it that a mouse is gonna use to make its house. It was just totally packed with stuff. It was so bad. And so this system got a lot of soap, and then it got a lot of vinegar, and then it got more soap. So this one's been through a lot. And so when I finally got it cleaned up and turned it on, I just heard this screaming noise. And I mean, it wasn't really loud, but it was just like a pitch that would just get inside your brain and make you hurt. But otherwise, it seemed to work fine, even with the screaming. The sound still kind of worked and stuff. Alright, so let's put these two in. So these are both 47 microfarad, 25 volts. That's these two. Okay, for this internal one, I'm going to straighten out. But for this one, this is good. Okay, so that little step there was kind of perfect. Clean up some of this juice. Gross. So I'm just going to put a little solder on one of the pads. Put that in there. Yeah, the fish smell on this one is pretty good. Pretty fishy. So I'm hoping this will cure my power on issues. I was kind of worried that this wasn't gonna do anything, but now that I'm smelling so much fish juice, I'm thinking this might have really been a problem. Oh my god, this thermal paste is getting everywhere. I'm making a mess. Just thermal paste everywhere. It's on my caps. Clean off my cap. That's better. Okay. Stripe down. Straighten that a little more. Ah yes, a little piece of cap and tape do nicely to cover that up. Okay. Nice shiny joints. And now, let's get all these 1000 microfarad 10 volt ones off of here. Yeah, as soon as he hit the soldering iron on this thing, I heard a sizzle. So normally flux doesn't sizzle, but cap juice tends to. Oh yeah, look at this. There's some juice on that leg. That's a juicy leg. Oh, juice. So I just keep going back and forth from pad to pad, just rocking this out. You can also use your solder put, pult. All the years I've had this thing, I never say it right. I always call it a solder sucker, but officially it's the solder put. Okay, this one not so juicy. Got nice open holes there. Ready for new caps. Again, there's some juice around there. Can get a new cotton swab, because this one's starting to look a little nasty. Cap juice. So I'm also going to try to come around and get some of this stuff from other locations. looking good. Alright, and so then these are these ones. 1000 microfarad, 10 volts. Just want to double check, make sure, because I'm sort of paranoid like that. 1010, 1000, 1000. Okay, yep, that's those three. So when I'm soldering these, I try to get it just enough where you can tell it's heated up and you can see it physically stick to the legs. You don't want to heat the caps up too much, because then that causes the heat to transfer up into the cap, which is typically not great for it. They'll tolerate it a little bit, but when you do your business and get done. Alright, so I did one leg for all of them. I'll go back to do the other leg. See if they're straight. I want to straighten that one just a skosh. Okay, the rest all look good. Oh, I should also, if Eric's still here, I want to thank you in person for your assistance yesterday. So if you follow me on Twitter at Big Bad Biologist, I mentioned that I designed a PCB to help with making a Mac Plus have internal SCSI, which it didn't have originally. It has a SCSI port, but it didn't have internal SCSI. So I designed a little PCB, and it was cool. It was my first time ever designing a PCB, and that was a lot of fun. But I had some issues, and Eric looked over my schematic, found some issues, had a couple suggestions, and then I went and utilized one of those suggestions, which was to print out your PCB and put it in place and see if it'll work. If it'll physically work in your location. And I found out that my design was super wrong. So literally gonna go back to the drawing board on that one. But I played around with it a little bit last night, and I think I have a new version that's gonna work. But that was another thing I had to order from Mouser last night. Is I bought all the sockets and stuff that I'm going to need to try that job. Alright, so this is our 270 microfarad 10 volt. That's 16. That's 35. This is 25. This is 25. Alright, so that one is a little different from the other ones. Yeah, I really love the Mac Plus. It's, I don't know. There's something about the just the design of it. I know that the compact Macs all look the same technically, but the way the top is, with all the little grooves on it, I think that looks coolest out of all of them. And the smooth front, but not too smooth like the classics. So yeah, the Plus has quickly become my favorite compact Mac. And so having a weird little mod where we can have internal SCSI, it'll be fun if all this goes down the way I think it will. Yeah, once I get this done, I'll show you just how bad my PCB design was for the Mac Plus. Okay. This one's a little bit of a tight fit. It's a bigger diameter cap than the original, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. This one, I think, yeah, it's a 10 volt, and we're replacing it with a 16 volt, I think. Yeah, 16 volt. It's typically fine to go higher in voltage on your caps. Ideally, you want your capacitance to be kind of the same. So like the one that was originally 8.4 and we replaced it with a 10, that's pretty darn close, so it should be okay. Hey Adam, no, not totally fixed yet, but I think we're close. I think I only have like 3 more to go. Alright, so that's good. Now we got these 2 to take out. And so I'm really paranoid about mixing up which cap goes where. So I tend to do them like this instead of taking them all out. But I will show that Bruce Rain has a nice picture online of the proper locations for all these caps. Okay, so that's that one. You did miss all the fish smell, Adam, so you missed the fun part of the stream. 270. Yeah. Okay, and so these are 270 35s. We're replacing the 25s with 35s. That should be okay. Use my solder pult. Get rid of that. Going through. That is one of the bad things about the solder pult, is sometimes when you pull it, it shoots out little tiny pieces of solder. You should go in and clean that off every once in a while, which I have not done in a while. Ooh. Had a cap fall apart while taking it out. That's a new one. I've pulled legs out before. When I was first learning how to do these cap jobs, I remember one time I had a solder joint that was just very resistant to desoldering, and when I was taking the cap out, I guess I ganked on it too hard, and the leg stayed inside the motherboard, and the little internal bits, kind of like when if you That's gonna be kind of gross, but if you pull a bug leg off and there's like little chunks of the bug, not that I do that, I just remember doing that from when I was a terrible child. Don't do that out, children, don't do that. Don't be mean to things. John's public service message for the day. Don't be mean to things. How big of a cap was it, Adam? Oh yeah, I hate when they bend the legs over and you're trying to take them out. That's one of the big problems with working on the Compact Max logic boards, particularly the Plus. All of the legs of everything are bent over. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Straighten these out. Okay. So I think these are my last two. We had a bonus one. 56 microfarad, 50 volts. Let's double check to see if I missed that somewhere. Straighten that guy out a little bit. This is one of the reasons I like doing the big solder tip for these kinds of jobs, is sometimes you can do both sides at once. I'm gonna hit that there. Yep. Let that sit up. If your cap isn't totally up against the board and you hit them both at one time, it pops up. Oh, come on, Adam. You don't have issues with the 8-bit guy, do you? That was sarcasm. Alright, let's take a look at Bruce's thing. Let's see if I can figure out where this 56 microfarad one is supposed to go. If we go here, 55. I thought I took that one out. Oh, mine was 47 microfarad there. Okay. Yep. Alright, so... Alright, mine, instead of the 56 microfarad one, I had a 47 there. So I guess they give you that depending on what your board has. Okay. Alright, so now... snip the legs. Clean up some of this flux. Of course, I'm gonna clean off my marker. Oh yeah, I am a professional, people. Where'd my toothbrush? Oh, it fell on the floor. Oh yeah, I was gonna paint it. Okay. So I did clean off my marker. Oh, Adam, so taking parts out and putting them in a 512, I'm not the best person to ask that to. I'm a person that likes to mod things. Um, so I'm all for modding, so mod it like you'd love it, right? If you're going to use it and appreciate it, don't let the haters tell you what to do. Although, again, you know, we were hating on someone for wanting to paint these things, so it's kind of hard to judge when we do what we want, right? Oh, look, the PCB had labeled it for me. I didn't need to do that. All right, good. So I'm not in terrible shape like I thought. All right, so now let's get the power leads reattached. Oh, I'm gonna hit them with the solder sucker. Yeah, I have enough issues with 800K drives. I couldn't imagine trying to use a 400K drive. Oh, Adam, since you're here, we were sort of talking earlier. Yes, this is a TDK power supply. About recapping floppy drives. I was wondering if you've ever recapped a floppy drive. I've never done it, but I ordered parts yesterday to recap a couple of 800K floppy drives because they're wonky, and that's the last thing I can think of in trying to fix them. Okay, so which way does this go? Oh, this goes here. Okay. No, that goes like that. Yeah, and this all goes in there like that. Okay. So we should have blue and then brown. Am I in screen? So I just have them sort of propped in there right now. Gonna hit it with some solder real quick. And then I'll come back and reflow the joint. I did try the track 0 realign for one of the drives and it didn't do anything. I didn't try it on the other ones. I have, I think, 3 of them that are wonky. So, Garth, for the extra cap, I think it's because these two, this one and this one, in some boards, this one is a 56 microfarad, and in others it's a 47, so they give you both. So on Bruce's picture, it shows a 56 microfarad here, but we took out a 47 microfarad here, so... oh, Jay from House of Moth is here. That's awesome. How's it going, Jay? Good to see ya. Alright, so I think we're good here. This little guy slides in there like that. That should go like that. And this little thing goes on there. I really like this high quality molded thing here. What time do you normally wake up, Jay? I used to be a late wake up person, and then I had a job that was really stressful, and I'd wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning and come in. Oh, Garth is saying that C56 should be a 56 microfarad. Oh, you are correct. I did. I thought I pulled them out and they were both the same thing. Good catch, Garth. I almost had this thing. So yeah, I got used to waking up very early, and then we got dogs, and so now I gotta wake up every morning and take care of the dogs. C56. Okay. Just gonna pop that one out. No, you're correct. I thought I had took it out and it was a 47, but now that I'm looking back at it, it was a 56. Gonna get violent with this one. Oh. I'll use the solder bolt. That one goes here, straight down. These are way harder to work with while the power cables are connected. I think we're done now. Well, done the recapping part of it anyway. Let's see if we make fire. Okay, that all sits in there real nice. Where's all that white stuff I took off? I guess what I'm gonna do, it's probably not necessary, but I'm gonna put a little bit more thermal paste back on there. Have System 7.5 running on a 128. Oof. That's brutal. I like 7.1 on all my stuff just because it's the most versatile I find for doing this kind of stuff. But man, System 6 is so nice on those old systems. It just flies. All right, Jay, thanks for stopping by. It was good to see you. Okay, I think we got all our parts aligned. This thing had a lot of screws. I wasn't expecting that many screws. Yes, a Mac 128 with 2 megs of RAM is now a Mac 2048. Oh my god, I'm making a mess today. That's what happens when you spend the morning busting concrete and then decide to work on computer stuff. Your hands are a little shaky. Okay, these two. Oh, you're retrobrighting for Steve now? Can I send you some systems? Okay, let's get some stuff out of the way. Get my Screaming Baby LC3 Plus-ish back on the bench. Let's zoom out. Special projects for Steve. Nice. Well, I'll look forward to seeing whatever happens here. Let's plug in a mouse and a VGA. And what else should I plug in? Power. Alright, so let's see if this thing turns on first go round. Chime. Nice. Alright, cool. So that's exciting. Got chime. I don't smell any fires yet. Oh, come on, Adam. I have a Mac 2 and a 2X that need a lot of love. Get rid of all that thermal paste I spread everywhere. Alright, let's just make sure we're booting. Switch here. Yep, we're booting. Alright, now let's check the voltages. I don't think we're going to see much of a change. I mean, they're determined really by the power supply, but I don't know. I've never done one of these, and I've never done a before and after, so let's see what happens. Alright, so we can see that on the camera. Yeah, we're still wonky on the -5. And our 12 still looks great. And our 5 still looks great. Alright, cool. Yeah, so I use OBS to run all my stuff. StreamYard seems cool, but I like having things local. But yeah, it would be nice to It seems like StreamYard would be easier for collaborative kind of work. Okay, before I end this stream, I want to show the mess I made that Eric helped me out with yesterday. Let me shut this thing off real quick. Sorry, I'm kind of. I know there's no reason to have to do this, but I have to do it. It's just the way my brain works. I have a really big container that I use for retrobrighting. I can fit two compact Macs in it, two full cases, so like with the fronts and everything. All right, let's see if I can find this thing. Okay, so excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. Okay. So on Twitter yesterday, I posted about how I designed a PCB for adding internal SCSI to a Mac Plus, and I think the PCB itself would work great. But one of the ways that Eric helped me is he suggested, hey, print out the little, PCB and see if it physically fits. And so that led me to two problems that I had with my design. One, I used the wrong footprint for the I still don't know all the terminology. I'm very new to all this stuff, but for this dip package, I used the wide one instead of the normal one, and so this whole design was wrong there. And then even if it was lined up right, you can see that there's just not enough room to fit this. And so basically what I did was I went back and redesigned everything so that one, I used the right format for these packages, use the right size for this diode. This was actually too big too, and sort of rerouted all the traces. And I think based off of the height of the socket, so what the plan is here is that I'm going to desolder the SCSI chip and put a socket there. So then on the bottom, so one of these rows on each side, the bottom's going to just have a row of pins, and that'll snap down in there. The top will have a socket, and then the SCSI chip will go back on there, and then there'll be the SCSI port right there. I think with the height of the socket and the pins that this might actually clear this little bar. If not, we might need to trim a little bit of this bar to let the circuit board, and really the new circuit board is a little bit closer. And the other thing I did was I staggered, instead of having this flush on this side, I staggered the whole thing down a little bit so that the SCSI port will fit inside this little breakout hole, whatever, clearance hole. And so I think this will wind up working pretty well. It might still be kind of wonky about getting it into the sliding in and out, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, let's just, cut a big hole in the side of the case and run an external cable through that hole, like some people apparently have done. If you're not understanding what Adam and I are talking about, check out one of Steve's most recent videos where somebody decided to make a dual floppy, was it a Mac 512? And they just ran a regular external cable through a giant hole in the side. One second. This is one of my Mac Plus cases from my Sour 16. And this was a hole that someone made in the side of it. So maybe it was just like, back in the day, people decided to cut holes in the sides of these things, and I don't know, run stuff through them. I really have no idea what this hole was. There was nothing special about the internals in this computer. This one, the analog board had been totally scavenged and hacked together, and it was ugly. Yeah, it's a speed hole. Um, I also kind of wondered, like, was something trying to get out or maybe trying to get in? I don't know. But this one's going to wind up being my personal 512 when I get around to it. Um, I think I have three more that I can get together and sell. Um, so yeah, so I think that's going to wrap up today's thing. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm not a floppy expert, which is actually one of the reasons I was hoping to do a collaborative video with you, Adam, because I have a Reina floppy drive for an Apple IIe, or I have two Reina floppy drives, and I was wondering about how to go about testing them. But really, I don't have time to get all that stuff out and start playing with Apple IIs right now. I took out my 2GS and started playing playing with that, and that's been distracting enough from all the other things I have going on. Um, but yeah, I want to thank Adam McGee, Eric Hagelston, and Garth Beagle for stopping by today. It was and Jay from House of Moth. It was awesome having you all around. And yeah, I also want to say thank you to everyone that's been subscribed to my channel. I think when I hit 128 subscribers, I'll do a little giveaway. So yeah, if this is your first time seeing my stuff, definitely get subscribed, and maybe you'll have a chance to win something or other. I have a lot of stuff here to get rid of. So, but yeah, thanks everybody, and I'll see you soon.